Going.
I also have another kettle here, just like the first one, where I've added another 2.5 gallons of water that I'll use for what's called the sparge water. After the grains have
Hold on.
soaked,
Say that again.
I also have another 2.5 gallons of water in this other kettle that I'll use for sparging after the grains have been soaked for an hour. And that sparge water is just another wash to come through at a much higher temperature that will stop the enzymes inside the grains from doing their work and crunching down molecular structures. It'll shock them, they'll stop, and it also will rinse through the husks of the grains to pull any of those leftover sugar, starches, and proteins, which we want to gather. So the conversion rate is about 75% we can gather out of the grains. That's pretty good. So I'm starting with 5 gallons of water. Later I'll sparge with another 2.5. That'll be a total of 7.5 gallons of water total use. And I'm going to end up with 5 gallons of beer, because I'm going to lose a bit when it soaks into the grains. The grains will retain that water, and then when I put it on the boil, which will be the next big step, we'll lose about a gallon of water just through evaporation during the boil. And we're just about there, so that's looking good. I'll flip-flop. Going to shut the heat off and start sparging the grains. So I'm going to open this valve, let that super hot water soak into these grains, and after it gets all the way through them, it'll start lowering the temperature pretty quick with the absorption of the heat by the grains. I'm going to leave the top off of this thing until it's down to 150 degrees, and I'll cover it, which will seal the heat in at that temperature, and we'll leave it for an hour. Try to soak them, get them thoroughly drenched in all areas. You don't want all of it to be built up on one side and create some kind of air pockets. So make sure you get it thoroughly around all the grains. Hear that bubble? That's the air coming up. Give it a second to bubble. I'll grab my mixing spoon.